Hi Andy, just seen you joined.
Let's begin. With the feet parallel, just make sure they are, look down, see how your feet are standing on train tracks. Very easy just to be casual, you know. Casual's okay, casual's relaxed, but casual isn't accurate. So put the feet parallel and get the weight into the center of the feet, the ball of the foot, the heel, and the outside edge. So play with it. Rock yourself forward, feel where the ball of the foot is, change the position of your knees and feel how the outside edges of your feet and the outside of the shin bones connect rather than just relying on the central bone that goes down the middle. We engage the outer side as well. And then that allows you something to sit into. So we just have a little jog. Pushing the foot onto the ground with each pressure of the body and waking up the sensation of the sole of the foot. We're bringing our attention into our exercise, not just doing it, but really aware where the weight is in the feet, what it feels like, allowing the feet to spread, allowing the tail to relax so the curl in the back drops as if there's a weight on the tail. And then we're going to pluck up the chest, open up the sternum, lift the sternum, not open up, lift the sternum, which raises the upper back, drop the chin, which raises the crown of the head. And then any tension it's taken in the muscles against gravity to lift us up, we're going to stay in that posture but soften back down into the feet. When you soften and release, indication is you feel more connection and pressure in the feet. Feet feel more stabilized when the body weight is released. Releasing the abdomen, the groin and the buttocks, the lower back, releasing the chest and the shoulders. Let everything settle into the feet. Here's our upright standing posture. I'm just going to activate the arms so they're not like spaghetti. They're lightly open. So there's one fist here. And what this does, it connects the arms around the back. So the back feels round, the shoulders feel engaged, and both arms feel like a circle. Rather than just hanging and being dead, you open them up so the whole of the back spreads open. Look at what happens to the shoulders. That moves the elbows and the arms form a different shape. And it's not the shape we're looking for, it's the feeling of all the joints being open and engaged. So from here, we'll start our exercise. We come up and we sink straight back down into the same posture. We come up, the knees are opening, the hands are lifting, the wrists are being as if they're just floating up. They're away from the body, they're not in close. And then the knees are bending the whole time I'm settling down. And I'm returning to my standing posture. Remember that the standing posture is fully released. So when you stretch up and release, you've got a very particular feel of letting go. When we come up here, we want that same feeling. We move to the posture and then we let go. And make sure any residual tension in the body, we soften and let it go into the ground. Use the legs. Release the legs. Knees are bending the whole way down. The knees finish bending exactly the same time as the thumbs arrive on the crease of the trousers. Then finally settling. Use the legs. Activate the movement from the legs. The legs lift, they don't straighten and they don't lock. They just lift up about an inch and then release. They sink down about an inch into the standing posture, where the shoulders are released and the body feels settled. So let's go inward. Let's take our awareness really inward. We might even close our eyes and let's feel the letting go of the body. But rather than it just being a movement that we're trying to do, which will keep us in our head, keep us thinking about what we're doing, let's try and feel the movement. Feel the feet pushing the head top upwards. Let the arms float. Feel the letting go of the thighs. Feel the softening of the abdomen. Feel the melting of the shoulders. Feel the settling of the body. 3 times like this. Use the legs. Feel the legs pushing the head top straight up. Now, go inside and feel the letting go of the legs. Feel the letting go of the whole abdominal area. Feel the letting go of the shoulders, all the way down. And finally settling. Last time. Use the legs to come up. And let go of those leg muscles to settle down. Standing posture. Fold. Scoop. Stretch. And release to the standing posture. Settle. Fold. Hips and knees. Back stays straight, but it leans forwards. Every lesson I'm repeating these very clearly. After a while, I'll stop repeating what we do. Looking for the upright posture fully released. Each stage of the exercise, there's something to focus on. So here, it's the letting go of the knees and the hips. The only 2 joints in the body, well, 4 joints, 2 hips that move. Knees and hips. And keep the weight in the center of the feet. When you come up, keep the weight in the center of the feet. Scoop with the fingertips straight above the head into a light stretch. Feel the stretch. Feel the feet and let go straight down into the center of the feet. The knees are releasing the whole time you're moving into standing posture. And finally release. Fold, knees and hips. Scoop, weight in the same part of the feet. All the way above the head, stretch. Let go. Settle. One more time. Fold. Weight in the center of the feet. Coming up. Feet pushing all the way to the top. Knees opening. Stretch, release. We're looking for the upright posture so that we can finally settle. Good. We'll just have a shake hand. Now in Tai Chi, there are directions what to do, accuracy of what to do. Hips straight, front foot straight ahead, shoulders straight ahead, hand height of the sternum, center line of the hand on the center line of the body, right hand thumb by the crease of the trousers, 1/5 from the body, nice round feeling and settled, weight in the center of the feet, weight 50-50, settled. There are accuracies, but what happens is you might find it difficult to get into that position, and that's absolutely fine. So when we say turn the waist to face the front, you might find your waist only wants to come this far, so you've got a bit more to go. We use the shape of the posture to show us where we're holding. So when I say turn your waist to face the front and you get into this position, which isn't turned to the front, Feel what's going on in your body. Feel where the holding is. Ask the question, what do I need to let go of? What do I need to change to settle into a straight ahead posture? Okay, so we're using the postures. If you come into the posture and your arms up here, ask yourself, this arm obviously didn't, you know the posture should be here, but your arm ends up out here, not on the center line, higher than it should be. You ask yourself, maybe I wasn't aware of what my arm was part of the whole body as I was moving. So next time I move, I'm going to include that arm so that when it comes into place, everything arrives together. You see, we're using the Tai Chi to help us understand about ourselves, not to do Tai Chi. Everybody's going to be doing it differently. Some people will take a step that's narrow, and you ask, were you aware? What can you do to change it, to try and make it more like the model we're trying to do? So we're trying to do some postures tonight. From the beginning of the form, ward off right, we'll do an extra move tonight. I don't want you to get caught up on getting it right. I want you to feel your body and ask yourself, does this feel comfortable? Am I blocking the move? Is there somewhere I can let go of to help find the movement? We're just going to do a little exercise to start with. If you start with your feet parallel, I'm going to move myself to the corner only by using this leg. So I'm going to push my foot into the ground, open up the back knee, and let my hips turn. And the activity is just in one leg. And I turn to the corner, and then I come back square. I'm going to turn to this corner just by using the opposite leg. And what I want to do is I want to push my hips level. I want to keep them level. And it's very easy to use the back leg and push myself out of alignment, or push my hip out, or push myself but not turn. So have a look at the fluidity of your hips. This hip joint has to soften to allow the hips to turn. And then I turn back. And the movement must only come from the leg. It comes from the foot to the leg to the hips. And the hips move the upper body. So when I'm finished, my shoulders and my hips face in the same direction. They start off in the same direction and they turn together, because the hips are doing the movement coming from the leg, not the shoulders. When people move, they move like this, and the upper body is doing the movement. We don't want the upper body to do the movement. The classics of Tai Chi say the movement comes from the Dantian, which is the center of gravity here, and it comes from the leg to the center of gravity. And the turning of the hips, or the millstone, we call it a millstone, turns the rest of the body. If you can get this movement nicely working, so the movement comes from the legs. Most of everything you do in Tai Chi is made much more simple, because you're not pushing yourself out of alignment and you're not moving your arms from the upper body. You're moving from the base. Square, use the leg to turn the hips. Now, what we did earlier was we dropped our focus and our awareness into the leg. How do you do that? Well, you can close your eyes and you start to feel the sensation of the foot on the ground. You start to feel the sensation of sitting into the legs. And then with your mind in the leg, you can feel what happens, so that your movement only comes from expanding that leg. The knees opening up, the hips going further away from the foot, and it's turning the hips. But if this hip doesn't do anything, you'll push your hips out of alignment. This hip has to fold to keep the hips level. And then you come square. I'm going to use this leg. This leg's going to turn us that way. The leg extends, gets longer as the knee opens. And the result of the power that you push into the ground, or the power of the thigh muscles, turns the hips this way. And at the same time, the opposite hip is softening and you're relaxing more onto this leg. Okay, the movement is coming from the legs, not from the swinging body. We're going to bring that type of understanding into the movement of the form. If you think of the fluidity of the hips and all the joints loose, when you put pressure onto the hip joint, it can throw the body into all sorts of alignments, and the muscles will stabilize us. If we're out of alignment, the muscles will stabilize us. They won't let us fall over, but we're out of alignment and we're tight. What we want to be is, this wants to be like a beach ball floating on the water. So you only lightly, here's a ball, look, you only lightly have to turn it and the whole thing starts to move. If the muscles are grabbing here and in the lower back, I try and turn it, of course, it's not going to turn. So I make my body, I make my joints as loose as possible so that the smallest amount of force from the leg can glide the turning. Now, how do you make your body as loose as possible? Soften the muscles. Soften the muscles that normally hold the body and give it stability. That means feeling where the muscles are held and using the movement as a mirror to feel, ah, that feels tight. Can I let go? Can I be more upright? Can I be more soft? Yes, I can go another ½ inch further. I can sink, I can relax more to the feet and let the turning be really loose in the hips. This brings fluidity into the hips, fluidity into the lower back. The whole sacrum feels like it's floating rather than held. Anything held is rigid, anything held is brittle, anything held is unstable. So we are looking to find some sinking and fluidity and the movement coming from the legs. With that said, let's go into the form. We start with the heels touching. I'm going to do it facing away from you because it's easier to follow on screen. I look for my upright standing posture, so I raise the sternum, I drop the chin, and I look for that place when I let go of the whole body being loose. Remember that corn in a field. If the wind blew through the room, the body would sway. That's how loosely I hold my body. So soften the brow, soften the tiny muscles around the eyes, soften the lips, soften the jaw, the throat. Let the shoulders settle. Feel the tail dropping. Feel the thighs receiving the weight of the body and the whole body loose. Settle down to both feet. Pass the weight to the right foot. Position the left and push it one shoulder width across. The left foot is now facing 12 o'clock. Move across to the left foot. Turning to 1 o'clock. Turn back, hands open, 50-50 weight. Coming up, the hands lift. Sinking down, the hands drop. Turn the waist. Turn the left foot in. Move the weight onto the left foot. When you find that axis over the left foot and your body is very loose, turn to hold the ball. All the weight is on the left foot and you're facing 3 o'clock. Sink forwards, holding the ball. Move on to the right foot. Find that alignment over the right foot so you can turn. Turn to the corner, lift the left hand. Step left, glide in. Turn and sink, facing 12 o'clock. Move forward onto the left. When you find that alignment and the body is loose, turn to the corner, lifting the right hand. Step right, glide in, facing 3 o'clock. Posture ward off right. Second. Hips, shoulders, gaze, facing 3 o'clock. Couple of accuracies. Ward off left, the left foot forwards in bow stance. Shoulder width between the heels, left foot straight ahead, back foot to the corner, height of the sternum, nice round circle. Ward off right, the right foot is forward, straight ahead, shoulder width between the feet, standing in a square. Hips, shoulders straight ahead, the right arm is wrapped round, height of the base of the foot, fingers of the left looking into the hand, straight line from the fingers to the elbow. One span between the elbows and the body, so they're not like this. Your shoulders are dropped, nice round open postures. This is up at 45 degrees and in at 45 degrees. So this hand, the left hand, is up at 45 degrees and in at 45 degrees, looking into the hand. So it's not with the elbow level. The elbow, it's this position. We're going to find this position very soon in the next posture, but it's from being parallel to the ground, it's up at 45 and in at 45. So there's 90-degree angle here. Come up and turned in. Come up and turned in. This position. So it feels like you're resting your arms on a great big ball. Resting. That's the posture we're looking for. Ward upright. Let's go from the beginning. Give yourself time to work through what you need to put your body into a loose upright position. You know what to do. You know to raise the sternum. Keep the weight in the center of the feet. Raise the crown of the head by dropping the chin. Soften off the body. Look for that place where you're loose. So engage your thinking and put those processes into what your body's doing. So your mind and your body start to work together. You're not just standing upright, you're organizing your body. And you're using the methods we're working with to give you real clarity on how you start to feel and understand where your body is and how it relates to itself. Which muscles need to be activated, how much they need to be activated, which muscles need to be relaxed, which muscles you don't need to stand upright. Let them go. Starting the form. To the right foot, position the left. Move on to the left, turning the whole time. Turn back, hands open, foot comes in, settle. Lift, release. Settle. Turn the hips, turn the left foot in. Move the weight over the left foot. Turn and hold the ball. Face 3 o'clock, walk forwards to 3 o'clock. Onto the right foot. Turn to the corner, lift the left hand, step, glide in, turn and sink. Ward off left. Walk forwards onto the left foot. Turn to the corner of the right hand. Step right, glide in. Turn, settle into the posture of ward-off row, facing 3 o'clock. So, we started facing the front, 12 o'clock. We moved to 3 o'clock, that way. We moved back to 12 o'clock, and now we've moved back to 3 o'clock. So these angles and where you go in the directions, what's really useful is to set up your room so that you know where straight ahead is. And when you do your practice, whether it's indoors or outdoors, you set up your area so that you're always facing straight ahead. So you know that when you come to hold the ball, you're facing your own 3 o'clock every time in the beginning of the form. When you come to ward off left, you know you're back to the front again, facing your 12 o'clock again. So it starts to settle in your mind, because we were talking earlier before the class start about remembering the moves, finding it difficult to remember the moves. You know, people these days are savvy and they're doing crosswords and they're doing mental exercises and they're doing on the apps on the phone, they're doing sums and things that keep the mind stimulated so that the neurological pathways of our brain, you know, it's very easy to get to a certain age and not use those parts. Just remain with what we know. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to learn more, about ourselves. And remembering of the moves is part of that. But give yourself the challenge of keeping up with what we do and remembering the form, remembering the detail, right? Remembering the detail. Otherwise, everything just blurs into a kind of a fluid mess of things being out of alignment, timings being wrong. It feels soft and loose, but it's all over the place. Might be enjoyable, but it's all over the place. We don't want that. We really don't want that. So I'm not going to go over that section of the form again, because we've done it 2 or 3 times in the other videos, and you can replay the videos if you want to understand the moves. However, I'll answer any questions about any of those moves if there's anything you need to know about them. So let me see those moves from the beginning. And while I'm looking, if you needed to ask any questions, just unmute and here I am. So I'm going to change my view and then I can see what you're doing. And if you wouldn't mind just doing it for 2 or 3 times so that I can see it in your own time, completely in your own time. When you're done, just carry on again from the beginning. If I see you do something 1 time, I know it's not a mistake. If I see you do it twice, I might pick it up. Or if you forget the moves, that just gives me more information to work with. Okay, okay, good. Any questions? Okay, a couple of things I saw then.
When you know when you turn to 3 o'clock and you've got the ball, one
Yeah,
hand or the other, is the top hand not directly above the bottom hand, but slightly?
no, it's slightly closer.
So
Or
the
hang on,
bottom
sorry, it's not
hand's
closer, it's further away. So
the
when
top
you
hand's
I'll go over that, Louise.
okay.
I definitely want to go over that movement because I'm looking at what people are doing. So I'll cover that now. We'll do a little bit of revision of these moves, and then we'll add the new move in. So when you turn, all your weight is on the back foot, so you can see my foot. When you turn, your hips turn, and that movement of your hip turning brings your thigh in and your heel pivots on the floor. So in this movement, when you've done the coming up and you're coming down and you're turning here, don't think about moving your foot, right? If you move your foot, you're going to push your whole leg and hip out of alignment. The movement of the foot must come from the turning of the hips, because the hips turn and your foot is on the end of your hips. So it's like your arm turns and the knuckle, or the hand, turns because the elbow turns. You don't try and turn the hand because you're going to push yeah, too much description. Try and turn this way, then move on to the foot. I've got a nice alignment over my left foot. I'm facing the corner. I'm going to turn to face 3 o'clock, which is now this way. I'm doing it this way so you can see my arms. 3 o'clock. One movement from here over the left foot, turn, finish facing 3 o'clock. I've got to be careful my knee doesn't collapse. I'm sinking as I turn. And as I turn, my left arm is drawn upwards. My right arm is drawn up. My left arm, because my left shoulder's coming forwards, goes underneath. It doesn't matter if one hand is above the other hand. Maybe this hand is further forward. It really doesn't matter. The most important thing is the coordination of the body, and that the arms and the center of the body are one unit, moving together, not turning, then doing it with the arm. Okay? When you can get the body to be one unit and move together, they'll arrive in the right place. When you add muscle movement, independent muscle movement to the arm, who knows where they're going to end up, right? You relax the arms. When you move to your left foot, you sit away from the right arm. See, this gap's opening up. They were here. When you sit away, this hand, with the right hand, which is on the right side, moves away. You end up with a gap here. All my alignment now is over the left. This moving away is important. When I turn, it moves straight away. Lost me lighting there. Most important bit, the lighting, so you can see what we're doing. The arms, the joints in the arms are like, if you have a train and the train moves, the links that link the carriages have to tighten up so then the carriages move together. Okay, if the links are slack, this one moves, and only when the link is tight does that one move. Sitting away from the arm opens up all the joints to the arm. So when the hips turn, when the shoulder turns, the arm moves as a unit, one movement. And the front hand ends up one span from the sternum to the knuckle of the right hand. So in the form, I come up. Let's do this bit together. I go down. I turn to the corner, turn the left foot in from the hips, move away from the right hand, open up this distance here, then sink and turn, one movement, holding the ball. Move forwards. Turn to the corner, lift the left hand, step left, glide in, turn, sink, move forward onto the right, onto the left foot. Now, Andy, you didn't do this. As you turn to the corner, you lift the right hand. The turning of the corner to the corner is the movement of the shoulder, which pulls on the right arm, up, step, glide in, sink. Okay, it's the same thing. The turning of the shoulder moves the arms. The turning of the shoulder comes from the waist. The turning of the waist comes from either the letting go of the muscles in the leg or the activation of the legs. Hip bone's connected to the thigh bone's connected to the etc., etc. We try and get that feeling through the body. So have a little play. The hands come up. See my feet, the hands come up. The hands drop. Settle. Turn the hips to bring the left toes in. Move to the left foot away from the right hand. Find your alignment and your looseness over the left foot. Turn to hold the ball. Have a go just that little bit. Hands come up. Hands go down. Turn. Sit to the left foot. Turn to hold the ball. Try and get the movement to come from the hips.
Luke, when
Yeah.
you're turning after you drop your hands,
Yeah.
are you putting your weight on the right when you turn your hips?
Little bit of weight, a little bit more weight goes into the right foot.
Okay.
Okay. A really good question. I don't want to bog you down with like infinite detail, but yes, there's a little bit of weight that drops onto you don't move onto the right foot, but a little bit of weight drops to the right foot to enable you to do this. So it feels like your left heel is slightly lighter because it's like a set of scales, you know. As you put more weight into the right, the left is just slightly lighter, which means that turning here is easier. Whereas turning on a weighted leg there's a little bit more pressure on the foot, on the ground and in the hip joint to do that. So we drop a little bit of weight to the right foot, which makes that turning easier. Then you sit away from the right hand. Then it's fluid to turn, face 3 o'clock. Have a little play with that, then we'll do a new move. One of the nice things about the Zoom is if you don't feel you've had enough time to play with that, if we move on too quickly because we've only got an hour, just repeat the video. If there was something in the video you didn't catch, repeat the video or take it to your practice session. If you've got 10 minutes to practice at home, go through it and be really super aware when you next do this movement. What were we doing in the class? We were sitting away from the hand there. And I was making sure I was fully aligned over that foot and I was feeling nice and loose over that foot. And then I was sinking and the knee was bending and the hips were turning and they finished turning as the hands arrived. Okay. These things are to get clear in your mind what we're aiming for. If it goes pear-shaped, try and unravel. What was I doing? What made me feel out of alignment? What made me feel ungrounded? What was I doing that made me move the hips, then move the arm? Try and unpick it so that it can become much more fluid. Little trick here. When you turn your hips, when you drop a bit of weight to the right foot, when you turn your hips, try and turn your foot in as far as you can. Try and turn that left foot in as far as you can, because it'll make turning to 3 o'clock much, much easier. Much, much easier. Okay, next move. Ward off right. I'll do it facing you so you can see it. Then I'll do it facing the other way because it's easier to follow. Ward off right. I'm facing 3 o'clock. My left hand fingers are pointing into the center of the right hand. I'm going to turn to the corner. So my hips are facing 3 o'clock. I'm going to turn to 4 o'clock. My hands stay in front of the center of the body. This hand, my right hand, doesn't move. As I turn, it stays in exactly the same position, in line with the center of the body. My left fingers drop to the wrist. They were flat, they drop to the wrist. This is like a push with the hand. Push with the part, with the base of here. This movement. I don't push the hand out. The movement comes from the hips. So let's just practice this movement first. Let's go into ward off right. We're facing 3 o'clock. The right foot is forward. The right hand is at the height of the base of the throat. Fingers at the left are looking in. The movement of the hips comes from the extension of the left leg. My hips are like a ball on water and they're free to turn. The knee opens up, the bent knee opens up, and the body turns. The movement comes from what I do with the left leg. A little bit of weight drops to the right foot. I feel stable the whole time I'm turning. I'm sinking and I feel stable. The movement doesn't come from doing it with the arms, doing it with the body. The movement comes from the ground to the knee to the hips. And that is the motor that drives this movement. That is the motor that drives this movement. My upper body doesn't twist. See those lines on my shirt? That's because my hips are facing a different direction from my shoulders. The upper body and the hips move together. Move together, so the shoulders and the hips are facing the same direction. Have a little play, see how far you can move. And stay aligned and keep it smooth and relaxed. It's not very far. It's probably from 3 o'clock, no further than 4. Just one move, no further than 4. Have a little play. Feel what you need to do to allow the movement of the back leg to travel. So if your hips were a beach ball on water and you were pushing them with your thigh, pushing that ball with your thigh, what would happen to the ball? Turn. Let it turn. To enable it to turn and keep the hips level, you'll need to soften and fold into your right hip joint. Your right, we call these the quad, the inguinal region, that triangle. You'll need to soften and fold into the right quad to enable the hips to turn. This joint has to fold, this one will stretch. Okay, this movement of folding the hips, opening the hips, folding the hips and opening the hips activates the lymph system in the body, and they call it a second heart. The activation and the pumping of the lymph around the body is done by the hip, mainly done by the hip joints, by the movement of the joints opening and closing. Very, very good for us to create fluidity into these hip joints. So that's the first part of the move. One movement to the 4 o'clock. Then I turn back to 3 o'clock. It's the same posture as before. I sit back to the left foot. As I sit back, my left hand drops, palm up, one fist from the abdomen. Again, it's on the center line. One fist from the belly. My left hand, as I sit back, my left hand turns over. As I arrive on my back foot, which is my left foot, it drops. Can you see it's turning over the whole way? It finishes as I arrive. My right hand, well, let's have a look at what the legs do first of all. I'm facing 3 o'clock with my right foot forwards. I'm in a bow stance. All I do is sit backwards until I've got 90% weight over the back foot. The front leg is straight but not locked. The back knee is bent. And I'm over the back foot, back up, upright. And look from this side. I sit back. And I'm upright and I'm over the back foot, 90% weight in the back foot. While I do that, I drop my left hand. My right hand, imagine it's up against a vertical, use this stage prop. Imagine it's up against this. As I sit back, it just folds against it. This isn't done by me doing anything with the hand. It's because I'm moving away. My arm, my shoulder's moving backwards because my hips are moving backwards and the arm's getting longer. So the movement looks like this. Ward off right, turn to the corner, turn back, roll back. That's the first half of roll back. Sit back. The second half, well, let's practice that a little bit. Let's just practice that bit from ward off right. Facing 3 o'clock. Set it up in your room so you're facing 3 o'clock. Look at your feet. You've got bow stance with your right foot forwards. Weight 50-50. Weight in the center of the feet, body upright and loose. Wrap the right arm around. Fingers of the left look into the right hand. Turn to 4 o'clock. Turn back. Draw the weight to the back foot, dropping the left hand. Arriving together. A few times. 50-50 weight, turning. Turn back. Sit back. Turn the hips, the arms follow. Turn back. Sit back. Reset. Bow stance. You don't change the bow stance at all. You turn to the corner, drop the wrist, fingers to the wrist, turn back, sit back. Waist is square, sitting back is straight. Okay, let's have a look at the next move. From here, you drop the hand onto that crease. Turn open, the waist turns, all the weight's on the back foot. Turn, palm down with the left. Turn back, fold at the elbow. Hand comes in, one fist from the ear, facing 3 o'clock. Turn open, turn back. Sink forwards. press. Have a look at the whole move, facing 3 o'clock, to the corner, back, sit straight back, with all the weight on the back foot, or 90% weight on the back foot, turn open, body faces 2 o'clock, turn back, the body faces 3 o'clock, sink forwards 50-50, the wrists touch, and expand. We'll go over this in more detail next week. I just want you to get the basic shape of what's happening. All this new move, the bow stance doesn't change. You face 3 o'clock, turn to the corner, turn back, sit back, all the weight on the back foot, turn open, turn back, move in, 50-50, press. Press, the wrists drop left on top of the right, flat across the chest. They roll upwards. With the shoulders don't lift, shoulders relax, and the wrists roll upwards. That's the move we'll do today. It's called press. So we've got roll back and press. Roll back and press, 2 moves. Let's go from the beginning. Give yourself time to settle. Give yourself time to draw your focus inward. Feel the body, feel the shape of the body, feel the releasing of the body, feel the alignment, feel the loosening. Begin. Settle. Lifting hands. Settle. Turn the left toes in. Sit away from the right arm. Turn to hold the ball. Sink 50-50. Onto the right foot. Turn to the corner. Lift the left arm. Step. Glide in. Square to the front and sink into the posture. Ward off left. Walk forwards onto the left. Turn. Lift the right arm. Step right. Glide in. Square to 3 o'clock. Posture, ward up right. You move, turn to 4 o'clock, turn back, sit back, weight over the left foot, turn open, drop the left arm, palm down, turn back, fold in, unfist from the ear, sink forwards, dropping the left palm down on top of the right palm up, press. Right arm on the outside, the left arm on the inside. This movement of the arm goes with the turning of the hips, that new part of the move. Don't do the arm independently. Turn the hips, the arm lifts, turn the hips back, the arm folds. So you're doing this with the arm. It goes up till it's about level, and when it gets to the top, it folds over the top, leaving the elbow behind. So the elbow lifts, then the arm folds over. But this is done with the turning of the waist. Turn open, turn back. Now, for some reason, people like to do this, like they're giving something away. The palm is down here. This is the movement of the arm. It drops into the hip joint and then swings open, palm down. Turn back and it stays palm down, move forward and it sinks, left palm down, right palm up. As you turn back here, the right hand turns over, ready to receive the left. The right hand turns over. I can't do it this way because you won't see what I'm doing, but if I do it if I do it on the other side, mirror imaged, if I do the complete opposite of what I've just been doing, it should come out okay on the screen. You turn to the corner, you sit back, turn open, palm down. As I turn back, this hand, the front hand, by the shoulder movement, turns this way. I'm still on the back foot. Now I move in, the hands drop flat across the chest and press. You can do the moves on both sides. This isn't just the arm, and it's definitely not the shoulder lifting. So the arm lifts and comes back, and the shoulder stays connected. Let's go from the beginning one more time. Upright and loose. Settle the legs. Bend the knee. Find the balance on the right so you can move the left. Trickle the weight, becoming more and more stable on the left. Turn back, hands in alignment. Settle. Legs to the arms. One movement. Legs, release, arms release. One movement, settle. Turn. Move away from the right arm. Find the weight in the left. Turn open to hold the ball. Walk forward. And onto the right leg. As you turn, the left arm lifts. Facing the corner, step. Glide in. When you're 50-50, turn the waist and the back foot comes in. Sink forward off left. Trickle the weight forward to the left foot. As you turn, the right arm comes up. Step right, gliding. Turn, settle, ward off right, facing 3 o'clock. 4 o'clock, turn back. Sit back, weight in the left. Turn open. Turn back, facing 3 o'clock. Sink forwards, the left arm drops into the right. Settle, open the back knee, press. Talk more about opening the back knee in the later class. Press. Posture 50-50 weight. Hands base, height is about where they can come up to without the shoulders lifting. In front. Where they're crossed in front, 3 o'clock.
Good. Any questions before we finish for tonight?
Yeah, when I think you mentioned this to me a long time ago, but when you're putting the arm back,
Yeah,
it's almost like this arm is lifting from not the shoulder, but like here almost, like
yeah,
mentally think of it
yeah,
as
yeah, yeah.
you don't want to raise your shoulder, right?
No, the muscles that attach to the arm pull on the arm here. They don't pull on the arm at the top. So the movement of the lifting, the shoulder is actually sinking. It's a little bit more of an advanced level, but for beginners, we simply try and open the arm up without the shoulder raising. What we really want is we want the shoulders to be sinking while the arm lifts. Okay, for the shoulder to be sinking, this is a more advanced answer. For the shoulder to be sinking, there needs to be space for the shoulders to drop into. So the middle back and the lower back need to be changing and softening. So your weight is sinking down. Your lower back is releasing. Your pelvis is settling. Your the shoulder blades are melting down the back. And all that is taking place while the arm lifts. Yeah. So if you won't get the shoulders dropping by themselves. There has to be space below the shoulders changing for the shoulders to release. So I'm answering that because of the question, but for everybody else, do what you can with it. Yeah, there are many layers in Tai Chi. Everyone's at a different place with their practice, and that's a good question. Okay, does that sort of answer what you're asking?
Yeah, I always struggled with that at the beginning. Because I was trying to raise my shoulder to lift my arm,
No, no, don't raise the shoulder.
just kind of
He,
learn.
the body needs to be connected all the time. If you raise the shoulder, if you're doing push hands with somebody and you raise the shoulders, you disconnect the arm. And you always want the power or the force from the ground available through your hands at all time. So if you tighten up your muscles, the tightening of the muscles is like tension in a hose pipe, a blockage in a hose pipe. You want fluidity right through to your fingertips. That's what we're teaching the body to do by doing the form. Yeah, that's looking good. Okay, gonna leave it there for tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll send you the
Thank
recording
you.
tomorrow.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
You.
Bye
Bye bye.
bye.